We're going to talk about the Kings' 132-127 win over the Houston Rockets on national television. An incredible game. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Kyle.
I want to talk real quick, though. I went to the game last night as a fan. I didn't use my credential to get in. I did not sit on press row. And let me tell you something. If you know me and you know this show, you know that I am a fan of the Golden State Warriors. Grew up in the Bay Area. It's part of my life. Even when they're ass, it's fine. But I love the city of Sacramento. I watch every Kings game. I love Kings fans, and I always have. I got my start in media here during the Here We Stay movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fell in love with the city and the fan base at that point because I've never seen anything like that in sports. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like that in sports again, where a community just kind of rises up and says, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. So I've gone to a bunch of Kings games in my life. A lot of the ones I've been to were during the lean years. We're talking 2010, 2011. Went to a bunch in 2018 and 2019. And then the last couple of years when I've been here, I've been going as press, and I sit on media row, and it's just a little different. Like we're kind of in the stands, but it's not like it's not the same because it's not cheering. It's something happens and people looking down to take a note. It's not.
Yeah.
It's very different. Yeah. So I got to last night sit in the crowd. And I went to a game last year, but I don't remember. I don't even think they didn't win, and it wasn't. But last night, sitting in the Golden One Center stands, as the Kings took a lead, and then started to let a lead slip, and then wound up winning that game, was incredible. Like I had no doubt about what a Kings crowd was like.
Mm-hmm.
But getting to experience it from that angle and from that lens, it was immaculate, man. It was such a freaking great time, sitting there and being amongst people who everybody's into the game. The two little girls in front of me who could have been more than like 5 were just locked in.
Oh yeah,
had their thunder sticks. They were dialed. They were ready to go. The guys behind me. A salute to Raymond, guy sitting behind me. He and his buddies, or I don't know if they're his buddies, just a guy sitting next to him, were hilarious the entire night, locked into the game, making little jokes, not being rude, not being disrespectful. I've been to a lot of sporting events, and I've had a lot of fun at a lot of sporting events. That was some of the most fun I've had at a sporting event ever. So salute to Golden One and salute to Kings fans. That was a blast.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with Scott Moak, the PA announcer, and he said that every game, they understand that there are maybe 100, maybe 200 kids that have never been to a game.
Yep.
That this costs their family a lot of money, that they might not get to go to another game for a long time. And they want to make sure that everyone in the building has the best experience possible every single time. And so the letdown is never there from what happens in the arena, from the staff.
Yeah,
all
sure.
That.
The in-game experience is
it's
one of the best.
Yeah. What you're hoping is that the talent on the floor matches what's going on in the building.
Yeah.
And I think that was just an absolutely gritty, like really, really impressive win that realistically it plays so well on TNT.
Yeah.
Like you want to show who you are to a national audience. Okay. Like a 25-point blowout, that doesn't really help. It'd be like, oh man, they're really good offensively. That there was one of those games where it's like, oh, Sacramento's got something. Like that was gritty. I mean, hitting 13 of 13 from the free throw line in the final in the fourth quarter.
And 20 of 22 for the game.
Yeah, just like the way that they were able to keep their composure. They did give up a 16-point lead. They did fall behind, but they just kept fighting and kept hitting big shots and kept getting to the free throw line. And again, Houston can complain all they want. I saw Houston fans just really going off on the internet. It will tell Dillon Brooks to stop grabbing everybody's arms.
Yeah, man. Dillon Brooks doesn't help himself.
He doesn't help himself at all.
And
he yells and screams at everybody, but then the the grab fouls.
I didn't think any honest to God, both directions last night. I didn't see any call that was like, oh wow, that was egregious. That was a game changer. The one that they reviewed, he whacked De'Aaron on the arm. That's a foul.
Oh yeah,
you can't do that.
Well, that
like, it's
and it was before the inbounds.
I don't care what Chuck and Kenny say. Like, it's a foul.
Yeah.
It happens.
I know. And Fox is like literally going down the court, like showing the lines on his arm.
Yeah.
He's
he
like
got whacked.
And then the worst part was they reviewed it because he fouled him before the ball was inbounded.
Right.
So
no, I was talking about, well, there was that one, but then there was the other one that the Rockets challenged.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, he smacked his arm.
Yeah.
And he smacked the guy's arm, gets his in, like, oh, it's like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
He just fouled him.
I know, and the Kings kept, the players kept asking reviews from the Kings side, and they kept looking at it and like, sorry.
Yeah, they're
sorry, Domas, there's foul number 4, there's number 5, there's number 6, and it's like, review is like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not going to waste the time out. You fouled him.
The guys behind me were funny because every call that went against the Kings, they'd immediately be like, oh, what? No, you got to review that. And then they show the replay and everyone's like, nah, all right. Yeah. All right. Well, what are you going to do? It's so funny. But yeah, man, just the gritty type of win. It was the same type of game like they had in Chicago. Only this was the number 2 seed in the West and not a team fighting for the play-in in the East. It was super impressive, dude. Bouncing back after your first loss in 7 games, first game back home after a road trip. That's always the big talking point. If you've ever listened to, speaking of Bob Fitzgerald, that's his number 1 excuse. Oh, first game back after a road trip is always like, no, get out of here. But
his number 1 excuse is that he works for the team. That's his number 1 excuse.
Well,
but go ahead.
No, but people always go first game back after a road trip stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they showed out, man. When they started letting the lead slip late in the game, because they did a great job keeping Houston at arm's length. And then you miss a shot here. They get a bucket. They get an and one. They get a steal. They get a 3. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, whoa, I thought this game was wrapped up. And now all of a sudden this thing's tied. Like, what happened? And it was funny because early in the year, when that would start to happen, you could feel the uneasiness. You could feel just the tension build.
That's a really good point. You could feel it in the building.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's the opposite of home court advantage. It's like it's like the other end of that spectrum. It's like the excitement helps, but then when that tension. Last night, maybe it was just me. Maybe it was the strawberry lemonade vodkas that were flowing. But it didn't ever. It felt to me like they were in control the entire time. Like, okay, Houston made a little run, but that does not mean this game is over. That does not mean the Kings can't get another stop or get another bucket. It's call a timeout, get to the sideline, regroup, go out and execute and do what you need to do to win the ball game. And that's what it felt like. And it never got. There were points in the game where it felt, oh God, that was kind of deflating. But never, well, what are you going to do, Kangs? But they're not going to win this one. Like, no, I kind of felt the entire time they were going to win that game.
No, I thought so too. I also, when you're watching the game, a couple of things, like they look like the young team that they are. They try really hard. They have unbelievable talent. You can see the talent.
Oh,
but but at the same time, they're young and they're going to make mistakes and they're not going to be able to finish a game here and there.
Yeah, no doubt.
But at the same time, you can see like where they're heading. That is going to be like an absolutely like a title contending team in 2 years, as long as they don't do something silly.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. You see the outlines.
Oh yeah,
of a very, very good team. I was so impressed with Amen Thompson last night.
Oh,
I don't want to focus on the Rockets necessarily, but he was awesome.
And Jalen Green, like
really good.
Just those 3-point shots he takes are just like every single one of them feels like they're going down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, just real quick, and then we'll talk about the Kings just while we're here. I did not realize how important Fred VanVleet is for them.
Oh yeah.
Their offense looked so disorganized at times, where it was just get it to Şengün and then somebody run at the basket and hopefully it'll go. Like, this is probably not a great offense, but that's tough to defend, man. They're just throwing athletes at you and letting them be athletes, and the Kings figured out a way to get enough stops and to make enough baskets, to hit enough free throws to win the game. And it was one where I have harped a lot on DeMar DeRozan, and like, dude, get in the flow of the offense. It can't be the Kings have an offense, and then 10 minutes every game, DeMar DeRozan's going to dribble the air out of the ball and just kind of take his shots now.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because the shots were going down, but last night it felt more within the flow. It never felt like, okay, everybody stop what you're doing because it's DeMar DeRozan time. They needed him. He was outstanding. He was outstanding for all 4 quarters. And I thought that we were talking to Kenny, D'Lo and KZ coming up here at noon, and we were talking to Kenny after our show the other day and kind of debating the DeMar DeRozan performance against the Bucks. And Kenny's like, you need a guy like that. You need that guy. And I thought they needed DeRozan last night. Malik Monk was also outstanding, but it was really clear the Kings needed somebody to take them home. They need someone who's going to take control of this game and go, all right, hey, this game's starting to slip away. I'm going to get to the free throw line. I'm going to get to my spots. I'm going to hit my baskets. And he was stellar.
What I really liked about the game is that, first of all, the physicality that the Rockets, okay, so they have super athletes everywhere. But then
insane. They're bench too.
Yeah, and then they match that. They're playing so incredibly physical. They're playing hard, right? Every single one of their players. So there was a point where they just kept driving to the rim.
Yep.
And it didn't matter who it was, whether it was Tari Eason or it was Amen or like
Cam Whitmore.
Yeah, just Cam Whitmore. Just name that like 6'6" to 6'8" physical specimen who is just running right through the Kings defense. And then on the other side, they kept throwing one of those guys after another at DeMar, and DeMar just like
didn't matter.
Old school. Like, hey, I've been here a million times. I don't care who is next to me. I'm gonna hit one shot after another. And that's where realistically I think that in a game that gets into a grinder game where DeMar is, you do need that type of player.
For sure.
And I don't think we've ever said you don't need that type of player. I think what everybody thought is that we would see more DeMar DeRozan in the flow of the offense.
Yeah, that's it.
And it just stands out. It stands out that he does something that's so different than what everyone else is doing. Every once in a while, it's in the flow of the offense what he's doing. But there is going to come a point where, you know, he has to like assimilate a little bit more. And then there's other games where it's like, look, nothing is falling. We need you to go. We need 6 buckets out of you here. And what did he have? He had 26 in the second half. He had 10 points in the third quarter. He had 16 in the fourth. He was incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to like separate like the good and the bad of a player like DeMar. And you know what you're getting. This is who he is. You're not going to be able to change him that much. You just hope that there's a little, as you get deeper and deeper into the season, there's more of, okay, it doesn't always have to be, 6 dribbles, turn around and hit a jumper in somebody's face.
Yeah. Yeah. He was about as good as you can hope for last night. And on top of that, you're getting 28 points out of Malik Monk as he continued. He looked great last night. I was a little concerned. Okay, he's coming back off a groin injury. Groin injuries can be a little tricky. How effective is he going to be? Nope, just right back to what he was. And it's kind of insane how he has fit into the starting lineup and on so many nights been like their lead guard. He is the number one guy. And I not that that's a bad thing. I just didn't I knew Malik Monk was a good player. I did not think that him going into the starting lineup was going to mean that he was going to lead them the way he does as often as he does.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like everybody, like both Doug and Mike have tried to like twist and turn the rotation, right? And they're always looking for the 2 or 3 man group. And for the first half of the season, through with Mike, he had this group that he would, when he went to the bench, he would pull De'Aaron, and then he would pull Keegan. And then so he would run with Malik, with DeMar, and with Domantas Sabonis, and then 2 subs, right? That was his group to start the game. Then we saw him switch it up, and all of a sudden Keegan is with that group, and DeMar's with De'Aaron. Last night, he totally mixed it up again, and he pulled 3 starters early, and went with Domas and Malik just with 3 second unit guys, right? With I think it was Kevin, Trey, and Keon. It's interesting how he's making these little adjustments, searching for the right combination of players. But the 2-man game with Domas and Malik, when you get them cooking, is unstoppable. Like,
impossible.
I was telling earlier, there was this play where Malik came right towards where we sit, the media up above, but right to our side. And he cuts around, he gets around like 2 Rockets, but there's 3 Rockets converging on Sabonis in the key. And Monk just hits this bounce pass that we saw this little tiny window opens up out of nowhere.
Basketball size window.
The ball goes right to the ground, shoots right through the hole in the defense, right to Sabonis's hand, who goes up for a layup.
Yeah.
It was so gorgeous to watch.
Nasty.
And that's where, like, he just has that knack. And yeah, you do need to break up the De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk tandem on occasion, but you also, one of those guys has to be on the floor at all times. And
flat out.
Yeah. And so Fox had some nice assists to Domas as well. But overall, I mean, that's been the combo that works, and it works for like 8 plays a game.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, this is I need more of it. Like, but you also don't want to use it so often that it becomes that the defense figures out the way to stop it, because it becomes less effective.
Yeah. It's one of those things that come playoff time, it's tie game, 3 minutes to go. You can just start spamming that.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Or it can be DeMar, or it can be De'Aaron one-on-one. Like, this team has so many different ways that they can go about attacking defenses now.
No, I totally agree.
I think you saw a couple of those be really effective last night. You mentioned Keon Ellis. I want to talk about him because you had a couple interesting notes from after the game. I didn't look good when he went down. He turned his ankle. He stepped on Domas's foot, or looked like he stepped on his foot.
He did. Yeah.
Rolled his ankle, immediately left the game, didn't return. So I want to put a pin in that for a second. What did you see after the game with Keon? Was he around the locker room?
Yes.
Was he what do you got?
So we asked Doug about it in post game, and Doug said, "Hey, he's in the locker room. He's got a big smile on his face. He seems like he's okay." He's like, "I don't know yet. We don't have like a medical report on him." After the game, we went in the locker room last night, and Keon walked in, and he had just got done probably with an ice bath. And like, look, he wasn't moving like a normal everyday Keon Ellis guy.
Sure.
His gait was a little messed up just because you could tell he was favoring the ankle a little bit, but there was no boot. There was no wrap. There was no, it wasn't like, there wasn't an ice bag that was all like wrapped around it. There was no crutches. He was walking on his own. He didn't do media because he doesn't have to. And teams usually say, no, we're not going to do media if a player's injured,
because
of course we don't want the question and then him saying something he doesn't know.
Right.
Yeah. I know one time Bogdan Bogdanovic told us that he tore a muscle in his hamstring, in his quad, and we're like, huh? And it was like, oh, okay. Or one time Tyreek Evans told us, oh, I'm gonna have that shockwave treatment on my plantar fasciitis next week, and I'm gonna be out for 6 weeks. And we're like what? And then he went out and played 3 more games, and then sure enough, had the shockwave treatment. We're just looking at him like, and the media director's like, no. What are you saying? Like, we don't know anything about this. And like, yeah. So that's why
you can't trust players also.
You can't.
Especially like in the NFL, you'll see a guy like, I'm playing Sunday. Definitely. I'll be out there. You'll see me. And out.
Yeah.
Oh,
you get that a lot though with players where, oh, I'll be fine. It's like, are you sure?
Like,
I'll be fine.
Right. You're not going to die from this.
No.
But what does fine mean? Are you out 6 weeks and then to be fine?
Yeah.
Are you out 2 days? So fingers crossed it's nothing major for Keon. He might miss in that event, you might see him miss a couple of games and then be back. That day-to-day type of thing.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's the ideal.
He didn't walk in with a softball on his ankle.
Yeah.
You know, that's so like there's a lot of good signs that it's possible he won't miss a ton of time. He walked off the court on his own.
Yeah, right.
And that was a good sign too. He went straight to the locker room, but what didn't have to be carried, didn't have to,
Mhm.
I'm going to guess grade 1, grade 2 ankle sprain, but
Sure.
but you never know. I mean, if he's a guy who has never had ankle sprains, then the ligaments are nice and taut, and he's not going to have,
Ideally,
he might recover very quickly. If he's a guy who has had a bunch of ankle sprains, which I don't think he is, then that's where you usually get problems. Like, everything gets all loose, and it takes a while to heal up.
But we also have no idea.
Nope.
So as soon as there is an update on Keon Ellis, either me and James or D'Lo and KC will have it for you. So stay tapped in here to ESPN at 1320. Let's go to the world where Keon Ellis is out.
Okay.
Let's just go to that timeline. What do they do?
Well, I mean,
because it's like the depth thing is obviously an issue already, and I know that he's not technically like a wing player, but he's one of their best wing defenders, arguably their best wing defender.
I mean, I think initially the idea will be to go with Devin Carter playing, additional minutes, and that's if Devin's okay too. He's got his surgically repaired shoulder. He was questionable coming into yesterday, and he did play. But he didn't play a lot, and he wasn't super effective. His shot looks like it's a little off with the shoulder. So I think you're going to have him work through it. Jordan McLaughlin has been he missed this game due to personal reasons. I think I know what's going on there, but I don't talk about players' personal issues unless we have clearance from the player. But I don't think there's anything bad going on there. It's just
fingers crossed.
Yeah, he needs to step aside for a sec, and I don't expect it to be long term. So that's always an option. And like, look, overall, you got some other bodies you can throw at him. If it's going to be, maybe Colby Jones, maybe Mason Jones gets a couple of minutes to just see what they can do. Yeah, but I mean, look, you've got Washington coming up, and it's a game where you just can't drop. You can't drop that game at all. It's your opportunity to get back to 500 at home, and it's the worst team in the league.
You can't lose to the Wizards.
No. So
you can't.
So
you're not allowed to.
I think there's hope though that you can't lose to the Wizards. I mean, I think that they can go and beat the Wizards without Keon Ellis.
I would agree.
It's when you get to the
can't,
Golden
you have
State
a
Warriors.
much larger problem.
Yeah. I want Keon.
The Wizards are 6-33.
Yeah, I want Keon 100% ready for the road trip, and I would really hope that again they don't play again till Sunday, and then they don't play again till Wednesday when they play the Warriors. So that's plenty of time to assess and see what you got here. I'm going to guess that just by judging what I saw last night from him, barring some weird MRI that shows something horribly negative, that he's not going to miss a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Wizards, by the way, lost to the Suns last night by 7, so the streak continues.
Yeah.
No one possession losses all year for the Wizards.
Tough.
Can't lose that game. Cannot lose that game. Also, side note on the Wizards playing against the Kings at Golden One Center on Sunday. It'll be the second night of a back-to-back for the Wizards. So you cannot.
Yeah.
Wizards by 10.
Oh.
Now that we're saying all this.
Oh, don't you say that. You shut your mouth, Kyle.
No, I think the Kings will kick the hell out of them, because that's what this version of the team is wanting to do. Yeah, I was just, dude, like last night, I've got a couple of nitpicks from the game that we can get to. Not right now necessarily. We'll get to those in a bit. But I was not that it was something new. It's just the more the Kings start to string these types of games together and these different types of wins together, the more impressed I am with it. And the further we get from whenever that first Doug Christie game was late December, the further we get from that, the more it becomes like, oh, this is real. And that's why I'm not going to call them title contenders because of last night. But when you start hoping that, hey, maybe this version of the Kings is one that can get back to the playoffs, wins like last night are a major drop in that bucket, because this was not the Bulls.
No,
this was not the shorthanded Grizzlies. This was a very good Rockets team.
Oh yeah, it's a very, very good Rockets team. I mean, it's a top 5 team in the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, we've talked about it so many times, but this is one of the most talented teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think when you figure out a way to play with the force that's necessary against a team that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Their calling card is physicality, athleticism.
All the things that should give the Kings fits.
Yeah, exactly. Even like the lack of athleticism in Şengün, like everyone else around him makes up for it, and he's just like a hub. Like that is just such a well built machine of, again, young players and older players. They've really got a nice combination of things happening there, and the sky's the limits for them. And to have them come into your building, and that you've got to pick this up to sort of put the Bucks loss behind you and just kind of step into this and not make excuses. I thought it was a very, very impressive, probably their best overall win of the season.
Ooh,
but we keep saying
was that the best? Was it the best?
I mean, the Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics win is huge, but again, that you got into like a really physical battle with the team, and you figured out ways to win.
Celtics win goes ahead of this one for me.
Okay.
That was on the road. You were down but you went down a bunch, and that one it looked like they were going to kind of take control of that game in the first half.
Okay, I'll give you that. The Celtics win, but this is up there.
Pulled away late. Yeah, no, this is top 3?
Top 3.
Call it top 3.
Yeah, it was a really, really big win. And so was the last one against them.
Last note on the Wizards real quick. Sorry, I just have their schedule in front of me.
Oh, no.
Their last 3 wins, Charlotte, Chicago.
Oof.
They haven't beat a quote-unquote good team since they beat Denver on December 7th.
Okay. Well, you can't be that team.
You cannot lose on Sunday. No, we'll talk more about that. We're going to revisit our keys to the game from yesterday.
Oh.
And see if the Kings followed our instructions or not. If they didn't, I'm moving it down the ranks of good wins of the year. I have a couple of nits to pick. And we have NFL playoffs this weekend. Divisional round.
I'm in.
Got some big time games. We'll dive into those as well. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. We're hanging out with you until noon right here on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center. Oops. I did not put together the thing I need to put together.
Oh, that's not good.
It's going to go there. And then this is going to go here.
Scooter. Okay, so Isaac Jones, because he's on a 2-way contract, can only suit up for 50 games under a 2-way contract this season. Last time I checked, he was at 33 games already that he'd suited up. And I think he's been available the last couple of games. And so I haven't checked, but it's possible he's up at 35, 36. And that just means that once he hits 50, he literally cannot suit up for another game unless they convert him to a regular contract. Now, the Kings have an open roster spot. We all know that. They parted ways with Orlando Robinson before his contract became guaranteed on January 10th. So, but here's it with teams, they don't want to tie up that roster spot until after the trade deadline. I believe the trade deadline is February 6th this year. And so the Kings have a certain amount of games as long as Isaac Jones doesn't go over that amount in that time. They don't have to make any move at all with him. And even if they do go over the 50 game mark, he just becomes a 2-way player that can't play in the NBA. He can only play for Stockton from then on. So I would expect the Kings to figure out his situation down the road. Like they're just going to kick it down until, maybe All-Star week, maybe a little bit after. They'll figure out their roster. They'll figure out if they made any trades, if they did a 2-for-1, open up another roster spot, or if they did 1 player for 2, and now you need that roster spot, and then maybe you waive somebody else at a certain point and you give Isaac Jones an opportunity. But I would expect Isaac Jones to sign by the end of the season, I would be surprised if he doesn't sign a 3 or a 4-year contract with the Kings that will look a lot like Colby Jones' contract.
I'm going to go get an Advil.
Oh, all right. You all right?
Yeah.
One of those days, Kyle.
Boy, is it.
I'm looking at that little tiny table and my coffee down there. This is horrible. We no longer can have coffee or drinks up on our. We can have water, but we can't have coffee or drinks up by the computer. Somebody decided to blow up a computer or a board in the Bay Area. I did almost spill coffee one time. Well, it wasn't near the board though. Yeah, Spencer, pod on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, Scooter. I just like the salary cap stuff is intriguing to me, and I just if you guys have questions on those things, always feel like you can ask me. If it's a much bigger question that we need to address on the air, but Isaac Jones' situation, I don't know how many games he's suited up at this point. It's probably hiding in the game book somewhere, but I'm gonna guess it's 36, maybe 37. And so he only has like 13 more games. And there's also the other thing, the two-way players cannot play in the playoffs. They're not eligible for playoffs. So you have to actually convert a player. If you guys remember a few years ago, the Warriors did that with Omri Caspi.
Oh, hey, we're coming back.
They had to waive him right at the last second.
Warriors legend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to let the intro run.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
James is there. I'm Kyle. Shout out to Jiffy Lube. We have a Jiffy Lube keyword of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to do is you're going to go to ESPN1320.com and you're going to enter this keyword for a chance to win a Jiffy Lube gift certificate.
Yeah.
And an exclusive Insiders hoodie.
Of course.
That you can only win via this giveaway.
That's right.
So go to ESPN1320.com.
Right now.
You'll see the contest page.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, unless you're driving.
No, if you're driving, doesn't matter.
Then don't do that. If you're driving, then just remember this. And then when you get to a place that you can safely do so. Go to ESPN1320.com, find the contest page, at the Jiffy Lube contest page, and you're going to enter the code word Debo.
Debo.
Deebo. Debo.
That's right.
Is today's Jiffy Lube teamwork play of the game because DeMar DeRozan was sensational last night. I don't know that the Kings win that game without him. He had 31 points, had a couple of huge shots down the stretch, hit big free throws down the stretch.
Actually, you know what? They stole two of his free throws at the end and gave him to Malik Monk. So Malik Monk had 26 points, not 28, and Debo had 33 points, not 31.
Wait, what?
They corrected it after the final box score. During the game, they accidentally gave DeMar DeRozan's final two free throws to Malik Monk. So Malik Monk had 28 points and DeMar DeRozan had 31 points. After the game, they went back and even DeMar's like, hey, this box score is incorrect. They gave those last two free throws to Malik. And I'm like, you're correct. They did. And then the NBA corrected it after the game.
I've got a bone to pick with whoever's doing the stats.
Yeah.
At Golden One.
I don't know what happened there.
Because I had an underdog lineup one night.
Oh.
Where I needed a player, Jaren Jackson, I believe, to have some amount of points in the first quarter. And they awarded him free throws that he did not take. And so I thought I hit my number in my lineup. And I was like, I don't remember him taking free throws. That's sick. I must have missed it. Awesome. Like, nice. Yeah, chalk it up. W for Kyle. We love to see it.
I was sitting next to you when
Yeah,
this all
no.
happened.
Oh, yeah, you sure were. And then I look up a minute later, 2 points gone. Brandon Clark, 2 for 2 from the free throw. I'm like, hey, the hell?
Who did that?
What the? And
Shout out
that's
to
the second
Dell.
time that's happened. Dell, figure
Shout
it
out to
out,
Dell.
Dell.
Shout out to Dell, who is a listener of the show.
Good, Dell. Pick it up.
I don't know what happened.
Lock in, Dell.
I tweeted out last night DeMar DeRozan with
I bet that job's impossible.
yeah.
Shout out to Dell.
I tweeted out late in the game. I said DeMar DeRozan with the late rebound. They fouled him. He's heading back to the line. I looked down. I started finishing up 6 quick thoughts, and then I get to the end, and I'm like, hey, why does it say DeMar's still at 31 points? Because I'm tracking the whole time, and I'm changing numbers the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, that's weird. I swear he had 33 points. And then I look, and they'd given it to Malik, and I looked at Sean. I'm like, hey, did Malik shoot those free throws, or did DeMar? He's like, oh, I don't know. And because we're all caught up
Lock in, Sean.
in the final.
Come on, what's
I
happening
look at Matt
over
George.
there?
I'm like, what's going on here? He's like, I thought it was DeMar too. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll figure it out later. So I put out 6 quick thoughts, and they, of course, were incorrect.
You expected Matt George to know what was going on? Well, that's your first mistake.
There it is.
I love that guy. Love you,
I
Matt.
should ask Brendan.
Brendan.
Brendan has he color codes all of his game notes. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh, I've seen.
He has like 6 different colored pens, and he takes all of his game notes and he's color coding the whole time. It's incredible to watch. Sometimes I hide his pens.
Does he freak out?
No, he knows that somebody hid his pens just to mess with him, and he knows it's usually me. I wanted to pull up one other thing before we move on.
Yeah, no, fine.
Big shout out to the Cardacelli family. Frankie and his wife.
Oh, nice.
Had
Not the match game music. That's not what I'm looking
Frankie
for.
Jr. Frankie Jr. is in the house.
They named it Frank.
It was his wife, his wife's decision.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah.
We had a whole thing going one day about what Sacramento King he was going to name him after.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
landed on Frankie Jr. Very good. Congratulations. While we're doing shout outs, Tim and Rebecca, God, I hope they're listening. They were delightful.
Okay.
They let us stand at the table they were using, me and my 2 friends I went to the game with, before the game so we could eat our food. We were like, hey, can we borrow this little bit? And they were like, yep. We weren't really like talking to them. We were talking amongst ourselves and stuff. And then you came over. You were generous enough to come say hello. And I'm not going to put you on blast what you were doing, but you're generous enough to come over and say hello. And after you left, Tim goes, hey, do you work in entertainment?
This cracks me up, Kyle.
And I was like, what? No, because when I think entertainment, I think my brain goes to movies. If someone just says, oh, I work in entertainment, oh, you work in movies.
I was thinking Rockhead instantly.
That's what my brain goes to.
Kyle doing high kicks.
Yes. You should. My hamstrings are so limber, bro. And I go, and I'm trying to figure out, because it wasn't a bad question when you put in the context of like entertainment is media, right? And so I'm trying to figure out, what did I say or do that made him think I work in movies? Because in my brain he said movies when he said entertainment. And I was like, and he goes, well, I saw you talking to James Ham. I'm wearing an Insider's hoodie that says our names on it.
It has both of our names.
You couldn't see it at the angle. In fairness to the homie Tim. And so I was like, oh, yeah, we do a radio show. Tim and Rebecca, they were delightful. They let us use their table again at halftime. They let us infringe on their space. They were really great. So shout out to Tim and Rebecca. I got to see Manny last night from the Chatty House and meet his wonderful family. And for the first time in my life, I met Kevin Phippen.
I've known Kevin Phippen for a long time.
Right, bro. So Kevin Phippen has been in my like orbit of
I think
people.
he's in everybody's orbit, but
right,
yeah.
Right. First of all, at the Bald meetings, have never met him. Never seen him once at the weekly meetings of the Bald delegation. Never seen the guy. I have known people who know him. I have been friends with people who know him. I have hung out with people who know him. We've followed each other on Twitter for like 12 years. and I've never met the guy. Randomly ran into him last night for the first time ever. So salute to Kevin Fippen,
There
the
you go.
homie. We've now met in person.
That's right.
And Raymond, the guy sitting behind me. What a guy.
Yeah,
what a pal.
Kevin was he jumped in on the Here We Stay movement towards like once it started rolling, and he did the video, the drop a grenade on you song. He did a tribute video to the Kings that just like was incredible and during the Here We Stay movement. And that's how it was like, oh, we got to reach out to that guy because he did this video, and we kind of like pulled him into the inner circle, and then it was like this.
Hell yeah.
Really
Salute to
interesting.
Phipps.
Yeah.
What a
Good
guy.
dude. Good dude.
Keys to the game from last night. I want to
Yeah.
revisit them because we do our keys before every game. And we never go back and look at them. And I think it was you who went, we should go back and look at our keys.
Yeah, well, we had a game where I'm like, I think all of our keys, like, they did not listen.
Right. Yeah, they were just all wrong.
It was
the Bucks
Milwaukee.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, they let Giannis get a running start.
Yep.
They didn't pick Dame up full court.
Yep. Just
Like,
did everything wrong.
Yeah.
Did everything wrong. And so we decided to be accountable. This is what we're going to do because this is what we're all about here. We're not going to say a take and then leave it alone forever. We're going to revisit this. So key number 1, you wanted the Kings to match the Rockets' physicality because Houston plays very hard. I think they did that.
Yeah, I think we need like a reverse ding. Like, ding. But if we
first of all, reverse ding is crazy. Buzzer? But that means like wrong. I've got the reading rainbow.
I don't know. Well, just because every time we do keys to the game, we do a ding. You can suck it.
Okay. So yeah, one of the things we specifically mentioned there though was don't go overboard with that. Defend without fouling, and the Rockets got too physical late in the game.
We've lost our mind.
That's okay. It's a Friday. No, the Rockets got too physical. I don't think the Kings ever did. The Kings did a really, really nice job of that. I thought.
I thought they totally matched their physicality. Especially like early on, you saw it with the matchup with Sabonis, who was running over Şengün early, and just spectacular, overall, like on the glass and everything else early on. Once he got into foul trouble, there was some trouble. There was also this moment where you could see that they wanted to crank up the intensity and the physicality even more. And Emi Udoka went to Steven Adams, Tari Eason, Amin Thompson, Cam Whitmore, and Dylan Brooks as like a 5. And I'm like, holy cow, this is probably the most physical and athletic 5-man group that you could put on the court together in the NBA. Like I don't
like
think
that's on a team.
Yeah, that's on a team.
Yeah.
I don't think you could find another team with 5 guys who play more physical than that group.
Yeah.
And it did not work out that well for Houston. But I saw the design and the idea.
Yeah.
And when that happens, the Kings went to a zone.
Yep.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
And they didn't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
I also like shout out to Steven Adams, who like his back in the NBA. I did not know that he would be able to play again. He's not the same player he once was, but still a good dude and like a warrior out there.
Steven Adams is only 31 years old.
Yeah, I remember him coming through pre-draft.
He's been 40 for 15 years.
Yeah.
It is so silly that he's not even like old.
No, I mean, I remember him in pre-draft, and he had short hair.
Yes.
And all he said was mate like 100 times. Yeah, mate.
He's got best NBA tattoos.
Yeah,
that tribal he's got down his arm is unreal.
He's a really, really cool dude.
Yeah.
Like a very, very nice guy.
Very zen.
And I think one of his best moments, his best moment in Sacramento was when Keegan Murray went up for a layup and caught him with a knee. And he started counting to make sure everything was still in place down below. And he goes, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're okay.
Number 1 for me was De'Aaron Fox stay mad. Nope. Swing and a miss.
Oh, yeah.
I did not think I didn't think he came out with it. I thought he would come out with like force. I thought we were going to see a just demon type of performance from De'Aaron Fox where he goes and gets 35 and has a couple of steals and a big dunk on a breakaway. I was just fully expecting the full De'Aaron Fox best player on the floor experience. Didn't get it.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But I'll counter with this. The physicality, when they start Amen Thompson at the point guard, who's 6'8", and is like a super athlete and can legitimately guard 1 through 4. I don't know if he can do 1 through 5, but 1 through 4 without any problem. That's who you're up against. That's crazy. And so they kept throwing their best defenders at De'Aaron Fox to try to take him out of the game. And I don't know that that's the wisest move, because the Kings are a team that is sort of built around like sharing the ball. And then the other point I would make is Fox won Defensive Player of the Game, where he had 4 steals, he had a block, he had 4 deflections, and I think he held his opponent to like 3 of 14 from the field. And so he was really good defensively. He just wasn't, he didn't stand out. And a game where it's on TNT and you expected him to stand out, and Keegan Murray stood out, DeMar DeRozan stood out, Malik Monk stood out, Domantas Sabonis stood out. They all stood out.
I was expecting De'Aaron to have the type of game DeMar had.
Yeah, I got
you. And not that he was bad. This is not. I thought De'Aaron stunk last night. That wasn't the case I was making at all. I thought we were going to get this like, oh yeah, De'Aaron Fox is an all NBA superstar level player, and he was really good. Just not the performance I was anticipating. Number 2.
I will finish. He did have 5 straight free throws to finish the game. Yeah, so
I didn't say it was bad.
Yeah. No, it's okay. And that my number 2 is the showcase game. And this is exactly what we thought. Especially Fox and Sabonis. They're trying to make their all-star case. And I think that's what we expected. We expected him to go out there and make his case for an NBA all-star game. And I don't know that his case, that the case that he made, was all that strong. I do think Sabonis, up until the fact that, to the point where he fouled out on like 3 or 4 consecutive plays by Şengün. It was, and I don't know like if it was 100% officiated properly. The physicality of the game dictated that calling touch fouls in that situation was a little strange. But I also don't think he got called for a bunch of ticky-tack stuff. It was physical. And I thought, again, Sabonis put up 20, 14, and 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think he got overshadowed by DeMar and Monk for sure. Fouling out doesn't help, but the Kings as a whole, I thought showcased very well on national TV, and Golden One Center definitely did.
Oh yeah,
that was a big time performance from the Kings. So yeah, I think they took the national TV game to heart and took it very seriously. Number 2 for me was hit the gas early. They won the first quarter and led by 9 at halftime. I thought they did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
Rockets were on the second night of a back-to-back and needed to kind of jump on them, and they did.
Yeah, they built a 16-point lead, I believe, in the third. And then, again, the Rockets kept hitting shots. The Rockets kept going at them.
Yep.
That wasn't like, you messed around and they caught up.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
They made a bunch of plays where it's like, dang, that's
even
a
late
good group of dudes.
The Kings went on like an 8-0 run and went up by 10.
Yeah.
And the Rockets answered with an 8-0 run.
Immediately.
It was like, holy cow.
That was the point of the game where I was saying they go up 10 and it feels like, oh, all right, wrap this up. This is over. They pulled away. The Rockets' second night of a back-to-back. They're going to cruise to the end here. And then all of a sudden you look up and it's the Kings are calling a timeout because the Rockets have made it a 1-possession game again.
Yeah.
And that was the point that I thought maybe you feel that tense, maybe it feels that, but nope, never felt like the game was out of hand.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. Yeah, great game.
Number 3. I don't know. I'm just picking random.
Yeah, it is 3.
I'm just picking random sounds to play now.
This is completely BS.
Okay. They had a chance to move within 500 at home, and I believe that matters, and they did.
Yeah, they sure did.
Now they're 1 game under 500 at home, which has been a major point in contention. and weren't they 6-13 or 6-12 at home? So they're on a win streak at home, and that's big. This team needs to be better at home. They need to figure that out. And Doug Christie has made it a huge thing that they put on a show for their home crowd that believes in them and supports them.
Yep. I needed bench scoring. I needed 30 points off the bench.
Oof.
It's a complete crap.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did not get 30 points from the bench.
Nope.
The Keon injury didn't help. They got 16 points out of their bench, but they managed to overcome it, which I guess leads me to this question. We talk so much about the bench, and you need bench scoring, you need this and that. To what end, though? Like, what do they actually need from their bench?
Okay.
To me, it's like energy. Can you get some rebounds, play some defense? Because when your starting lineup includes De'Aaron Fox, and it includes Malik Monk, and it includes DeMar DeRozan, and it includes Domantas Sabonis, where any of those guys are capable for going for 30 on any night, and you know you're going to get your points from that group, and now Keegan's hitting threes again, so you're going to get 15 a night from Keegan. I think when that's happening, I don't think points are necessarily what you need from the bench, and I think that's something I need to recalibrate when I'm assessing what the Kings need from that group.
Yeah, and I also think like breaks matter in the schedule. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but like the Kings don't play again until Sunday. And so if I'm Doug Christie and I'm looking and it's Thursday, I've got Friday and Saturday for my team to rest up. I don't mind going 38, 40 minutes with my starters. And then you look at what's going to happen. They play, on Sunday, but they don't play again till Wednesday. If you need to go heavy on your starters again on Sunday, it's okay. They've got 2 days to recover. What you don't want to do is get to Wednesday, get in a knockdown drag out, then get on a plane after that, fly to Denver, have an hour bus ride to the hotel plus an hour time change. You won't get in until 3 or 4 in the morning. And what you don't want to do is play your starters 38 to 40 minutes to try to beat the Golden State Warriors and then lose the next day because of it. And then you start off a road trip with a whole bunch of logged minutes trying to compete and get off on the right foot.
Those are tough minutes in Denver too.
Yeah, they are. They're tough minutes in Denver. And that's where I would say, look, it does matter. Like the schedule matters. Everything. It's not just, hey, we need to have this many points from the bench every night. Some nights it's okay that the bench doesn't have a big night.
Yeah, I think what I need from that group is when Devin Carter's on the floor, can you just be a pest defensively and grab rebounds?
Yeah.
Whether Devin Carter scores 0 points or 10 points matters way less than him doing those things. When Kevin Huerter's on the floor, can you knock down however many threes you get? If you get four attempts, can you hit 2 of them? Is that the number of points I think matters less than finding the specific roles these guys are going to play. Because when you have the starters the Kings do, bench scoring goes kind of out the window. There's going to be nights where you need, like, hey, Malik's not playing great and DeMar isn't hitting his shots. Like, man, you really need Trey Lyles or Devin Carter or Keon or somebody to do something offensively. But I think on a night in, night out basis, something like 30 points from the bench isn't going to matter if DeMar and Malik are going to combine for 60.
Yeah.
And De'Aaron's going to put up 20 of his own.
Well, that and Sabonis put up 20 and Keegan Murray had 18.
Yeah.
Like there are certain nights you're going to need it, but right now your starters are playing really well.
Bad key by me. What are you going to, they're not all going to be winners.
It's an okay key.
Not, I mean, in theory, yeah, but they came way short of 30 and they won. Not a key to victory. Gosh, what are they? 4 of 12 from 3, 6 of 18 from the field, 16,
Yeah.
6 of 16 from the field.
I keep saying this,
16
man.
points. Oh,
Trey Lyles, again, had 5 rebounds in 19 minutes. Like he is at least trying to do other things. Like the Kevin Huerter struggle bus is tough to watch.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling for that guy right now. I just like he's in his head.
It is one of the, I'm pretty sure we talked about this with him last year. Go take a week off.
Yeah.
This isn't a demotion. It's not. Go be away and maybe it's the All-Star break, but it's like, don't work. Like you can exercise, but don't do basketball.
Yeah.
Go to Hawaii and sit on the beach, have a beer,
Yeah, either that or go hang out with your family for a week.
Whatever it is
whatever that makes you centered.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just, again, not a demotion. You'll come back, you'll get your minutes, but I feel so bad for Kevin Huerter because you can just tell.
Yeah, it's like the Steve Sachs, like Chuck Noblock thing at this point. Like he just feels like a player who
second baseman who could not make the short throw to first base.
Yeah, it feels like
they got the yips.
He's got the yips, and it's tough.
And the way he moves is like he's wearing a 15-pound vest.
You can see the stress of it all. Dude. Yeah. I feel for him.
Feel for the guy for sure. You know who else I feel for? Me. Feel bad for me. 7 straight losses in underdog.
Oh no.
Will Z pointed this out in the chatty house. Somebody else pointed it out as well. I had Domantas Sabonis more than 15.5 rebounds last night on underdog.
No.
I do lineups with the underdogs pick them. It's hella easy. You pick higher or lower on at least 2 player stats. They got a bunch of stats. You can do it by quarter, by half, by game. There are so freaking many to choose from. I think that's part of why I'm losing is I'm digging so deep into these. But I tried a home run swing last night to change my luck. Didn't work. Domantas Sabonis, 15.5 boards. He had 14 with like 10 minutes to go. And I'm like, I'm in a good spot.
Oh, yeah.
Finished with 14 after fouling out. And fouled out at the point of the game where the Rockets were going to start chucking and he was going to have a lot of opportunities for rebounds. Tough beat for me. I did have Jalen Green higher than 24.5 points. That's a winner for me. He had 28.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, with the underdog flex play, you need 2 out of 3. And I did not get that because I had De'Aaron Fox to have a double-double and he finished 3 assists shy. Okay. So not really close there. That's 7 consecutive losses in a row. So you should be, I'm going to give a lineup later. You should be fading that lineup. You should download the Underdog app right now. Sign up with the promo code Kyle M. Deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Mm-hmm. And a promo code Kyle M. And then when I give my lineup later, do the opposite. Oh, yeah. That's cash.
Well, that's what I like. For
you could be winning right now.
People know. Go just do the opposite of what I say.
Fade the insiders.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's the Underdog app. Having a ton of fun with that. And again, I'll have a lineup for you later. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, we'll have James Ham's 6 quick thoughts, and we'll take a look ahead to what should be a sensational weekend of football in the NFL, the divisional playoffs, arguably the best weekend in the NFL season. That's all coming up in the second hour. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. They're Jiffy Lube. They sponsor the show, and this is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. We have never been more clear.
The A's will wear...
Haven't seen it.
The patch? They will wear 2 patches, one to honor Ricky Henderson, who passed away late last or early this year. And then to celebrate the greater Sacramento area. They will have 2 giveaways, a trucker hat featuring the Sacramento patch and a Ricky Henderson rally towel. I have not seen the actual. Yeah, so Sacramento A's, there will be a Tower Bridge. And then they'll wear the number 24. All right. I have not seen the patch. Oh, well.
I haven't either.
What's going on, everybody? We need to get on that list.
Which one?
When are we doing this?
End of the show.
Okay.
So during the handoff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was scrambling. I'm like, oh, I need to get that ready. Athletics Twitter posted. All right. Unless I did get the email and I just wasn't paying attention. No, I did not. Oh, hang on. I need to drink some of my coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. I rock with the patch. It's kind of fire.
Yeah?
Understated.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
I like that.
Yeah, same. Oh, hey, hang on. I genuinely don't know the answer to this, which is why I'm comfortable making jokes about it. I was Matt Steinmetz's producer for how long was I at? However long I was at 95.7.
2 years, 3 years?
For 3.5 years.
Oh,
And August of 19 to March of 23. Yeah, 3.5 years.
okay.
And I was Steiny's producer for 3 of those years. That guy would bring in a pint glass of water and just set it there. Like, just buy everything. And it was like, man, that makes me so nervous.
Oh, yeah.
So all of that said, it would not shock me one bit if it was Steiny. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Hour number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Technology, am I right, folks? Hey, let me just say, we're rocking with you until noon, then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and Casey, and they'll take you up to 4 o'clock. They'll take you into the weekend. Jiffy Lube sponsors the show. We love Jiffy Lube very much. Matt Steinmetz is not a name drop. I love Steiny.
Ouch.
Steiny is
He's a good
the
dude.
homie. He is a real one. Love Steiny. Saying I produced a show for Matt Steinmetz is not a name drop. I saw Johnny G in the chat like, who casually drops more names, Kyle or James? After I was talking about being a producer for Steiny. That's not a name drop. I'm sorry.
No.
Matt Steinmetz is just a dude. Who broke the story that Latrell Sprewell choked out PJ Carlesimo.
Oh.
That's a fact.
Oh.
That's a true fact.
Wow.
Shout out to Steiny.
That's crazy.
Hey, speaking of old basketball reporters, James Ham. No, I'm joking.
I don't know where this is going.
No, just a gap in my what's the cultural knowledge, sports culture knowledge.
Okay.
Not really a gap, just one of those things that you kind of, I think, had to be around to understand the gravity of.
Okay.
Was the Magic Johnson HIV diagnosis.
Oh.
Somebody posted an old column from when Bill Simmons was in college reacting to the Magic Johnson HIV diagnosis. And reading it and seeing the replies, because everything in it is just everything that Bill Simmons writes about in it turns out backwards. Like he's never going to get to do this. He's never going to get to do this, blah, blah, blah. Because it's devastating to read. And and everybody's like, but this was the consensus like thought at the time that Magic Johnson got this diagnosis and he was going to be gone soon. And I don't like, it's just one of those things that I obviously know about it, but I have never been able to, or really tried to wrap my arms around the fact that was just this like, because I've known Magic Johnson is just like happy ass Magic Johnson just all the time. And like, that's who he is in my life. I did not really like until I read this piece by Bill Simmons from whatever that is 30 plus years ago now.
1991, 92.
So 35 years ago going on.
Yeah.
Reading that and just how like devastatingly sad it was like jarring to me because I've never taken the time to understand what that moment was.
Okay, so like living through that moment, first of all, I almost got in a fight in the locker room when somebody said, "Oh, Magic Johnson has AIDS," when I was in high school, because I was a huge Magic Johnson fan, and I'm like, "Hey, that's not funny. You shouldn't say something like that." He's like, "No, he does," and like there was almost fighting words.
You don't have Twitter at this time to go look.
No, well, not only that, but you didn't have the internet wasn't readily available.
Yeah.
And
right,
so, you had to wait for the newspaper the next day or go turn on sports talk radio. Like, just to be honest with you, the moment was incredible. And I'll relay this in a weird way to what we went through with the global pandemic. So when Rudy Gobert goes out there and like smacks everybody's microphones, and then a couple of days later ends up with COVID, like we didn't really know what it would look like, how many people would die, all that stuff at that moment. But the AIDS the epidemic at that point, it was, you didn't survive.
Right.
It was like it was a death warrant when you had that diagnosis, and it was a very, very hard time. And there was a lot of like, especially being a high schooler at that time, while like, they're doing like public service announcements and, lots of things that would scare you as a high schooler about, partners and all that stuff. So it was very, very scary. And then as soon as Magic like put another face on it, there were faces before that, like Rock Hudson, there were other people that had died, Freddie Mercury. But to see Magic, who is like, he was so larger than life.
Right.
I mean, like for me, there's still a lot of people like myself that put Magic Johnson on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. He won like finals MVP as a center.
Yeah. One of the greatest players of all time, but to have him be the face of it. And then, of course, when they brought him back for the All-Star game, there was people who didn't want to play because they were like worried, uninformed,
didn't understand,
and worried. And like, it was a really tough time. And I think a lot of people, the fact that Magic Johnson is still with us is a medical miracle, because I would say probably like 97 or 98% of the people from when he got the disease, like to today, like are gone.
Yeah.
He just, again, first of all, he had a lot of money and he had a lot of fame, and he was able to get treatments that other people, normal, everyday people, weren't able to get.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, it's a miracle that he's still around. And so, I haven't read the Bill Simmons piece, but living through that was, it was different.
Because you read it and it's like, oh, what? Like, here's how it ends. But the bottom line remains: Magic will never be in a Laker uniform again. That makes me sad. He will die before the year 2000. That makes me sad. He will never play in the Olympics with Larry Bird, and he'll never own an NBA franchise. That makes me sad. And it's easy to look at that and go, he did all of those things.
Yeah.
But knowing that, like, everybody thought that, like, this is just it. Really dry. I did a deep dive last night. It was.
Well, it's even like when Scott Moak talks about, like, when someone bleeds on the court, he says it's a stoppage for infectious disease.
Yeah.
Stoppage.
Yeah.
Right? And Kevin Durant got all upset, and he said, "Hey, man, I have to say that every time."
Yeah.
And Kevin was like, "That's not cool, man." He's like, No, it's not just you. And then somebody else bled right after that, and he said it again, and Kevin Durant's like, "I got you."
Yeah.
Now
it's a mandated thing.
It's a mandated.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, okay, got it."
Making fun of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's one of those moments with Scott Moak that he'll talk about, like
Yeah.
funny moments where you had this like little bonding experience with somebody over a strange thing. But before that, like again, you're in high school, someone starts bleeding, everyone's like, hands
Stop
off.
the game.
Stop the game,
Mhm.
like clearing it up.
Yep.
Like, hey, someone with
If
gloves
it gets on
come
the
over
uniform,
here.
you got to remove the uniform. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was
Yeah.
just again,
Yeah.
that's where I kind of like relate it to what we went through at the early stages of pandemic. It was
Sure.
like there was just this fear. We all hid in our houses.
Yeah, of course.
You would bring grocery bags home and take bleach wipes and wipe the bag off, and then take your cans out
Yeah.
and wipe your cans off. Like
Yeah.
that's where we were in the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like
Yeah,
it was at. I think we knew a
hyper-caution.
little bit more when Magic, by
Mhm.
the time Magic had, contracted.
Yeah. But
the
still.
the HIV virus,
Yeah.
not AIDS, but HIV virus.
Yeah.
But I don't even know that we understood the difference between the two at that time.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Man.
really interesting.
That was just sorry for the non sequitur. That was something that
yeah.
I saw last night and was like, wait, this is devastating to read. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyways, read that before going to the Kings game where the Kings beat the Houston Rockets 132-127. He's James. I'm Kyle. Jiffy Lube sponsors the show. We're the Insiders. We're here every day from 10 a.m. to noon on ESPN 1320. That is Sacramento's sports leader. Let's get into James Ham's 6 quick thoughts, which you can read on the various social media and, of course, at Twitter at James_Ham NBA. James_Ham NBA on Twitter. But we're going to do a little deeper dive now.
How'd yesterday's Kings game go?
Yeah, big thumbs up.
Kings insider
Amazing.
James Ham has 6 notes you need to know. Here are James Ham's 6 quick thoughts.
Yeah, here they are. Number 1.
Yeah, school's in session. DeMar DeRozan took a bunch of young players to school, and that's what it was. It just looked like it didn't matter who it was. Even Dylan Brooks tried to step up and guard him and try to get all physical with him, and he just turned around and just buried jumper after jumper in their face.
Yep.
Like there was a jumper like in Dylan Brooks's face.
It was great.
And
There's not a player I love watching fail more than Dylan Brooks.
I think that goes for most people in Sacramento.
That's the best.
Yeah. So he's what we're seeing out of DeRozan is amazing. On specific nights, 26 points in the second half, 33 overall. But I thought he was having a good game in the first half, and he had 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was efficient, and you're like, oh, okay, this looks
right
good
in the flow.
And then you get to the second half, and 10 points in the third quarter, 16 points in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a difference maker in that game.
My favorite thing about watching DeMar, it's like different sensation, but follow me. When someone's telling a joke and you can kind of see where the joke is going, and so you start getting excited for the punchline,
Mm-hmm.
and the punchline, like, that's similar to how I feel when DeMar gets the ball and then turns his back to a defender like 15 feet from the basket.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, here it comes. Oh, this is going to be so cool.
They don't know what's about to hit them.
Every time, yeah. And you can, the beauty of it, and what makes it so difficult is you can't, because he's going to turn and get that separation. Well, first he's going to get that shoulder.
Yep.
And then he's just one shoulder, not 3. He's going to get that shoulder. And then he's going to turn. He's created separation. Then he's going to create more separation to where if you try and contest it, you're either going to get in his space, which is a foul, or you're going to hit his arm, which is also a foul. And then he's going to make it even if you foul him. Like it would piss me off to no end if I had to defend him. Because literally, what do you do?
Yeah, the only other
You hope he
player
misses.
that I remember that did things like this all the time was Paul Pierce. Like Paul Pierce, if he's wide open, like he's probably not hitting the shot. He needed somebody like in his grill, in his business, and he was slow and methodical, and but it didn't matter. Like you could have two players, all over him trying to block the shot, and nothing. Like he knew exactly where the basket's at all times. Yeah. So when DeMar is on one, yeah, feed him.
Yep, right there with you. Number 2.
Keegan is back.
Boy, is he.
18 points, 11 rebounds. He's up to 32.4% from the field. His climb continues. Doug Christie talked about it after the game and said, like, look, like, other coaches have said this too. Mike Brown said this too. Keegan doesn't know how good he is. And you have to continuously remind him but also put your arm around him and show him a bunch of love and try to get him to the next stage. Like this is only a blip on who you're going to be as an NBA player. And man, to me, it's not just that the 3-point shot is going down. He goes 3 of 6 from 3. It's the type of rebounds he gets now, where
tough, dude.
He super tough rebounds where he's going above, like just ripping the ball out of the air from other players. And then he had this crazy finish in transition where he went behind the back and then had to switch hands midway up to it was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then his dunks, see about a couple of baseline dunks. He's just starting to look like the player that we saw that we thought would ascend. And all of a sudden it's happening. Yep. And so for me, it's only 7 games, whatever it is under Doug. Go ahead.
So he missed the 2 games with the ankle against Philly and Memphis. Since then, it's 6 games, averaging 14.5 points, 7 boards, 1.3 assists, 0.7 steals, a block, and he's shooting 48.5% from the field and 47.7% from 3 on 7.3 attempts a game.
Yeah.
That's the ascension.
That's it. That's the player you needed.
And you'd like to see the volume tick up at some point, but for now, 11 shots a game, 7 of them threes. Take that.
Yeah, I want him taking 8 threes a game. I want him taking 12 to 13 shots a game. But again, it's just complicated.
Yeah, man. It's not. It's whatever he needs to do to stay on this pace that he's on. If the Kings get a version of Keegan Murray that's playing very good defense, hitting 40+% from 3 and averaging 14.5 points a game,
take it.
That is all you need. Number 3.
Let's see. Sabonis is a star. If I don't get how people who watch the Kings don't come away with it thinking, my goodness, look how good he is. Defensively in the first half, he was incredible. I think he got some tough calls late, and which is why he finished only with 20 and 14 and 7. But 20 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. Look how consistent that is. It's basically his stats for the season. He's actually shooting. He came in leading the league in 3-point percentage, and he raised that up. He's now shooting 47.8% from 3 on the season. And you know who's number 2 in the league? 3-point percentage?
Oh. No.
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic is taking 9 a game.
It's incredible what we're seeing from these 2 players. And third is Luke Kennard. That one makes sense. That makes sense that Luke Kennard is third. But to see that Domas is leading the NBA in rebounds, in total rebounds and rebounds per game and 3-point percentage, that's just wild. I mean, I don't care. Everyone keeps moving the goalpost. You say, oh, well, he can't shoot well enough, so we're going to bag on him.
Right.
Okay, now he's leading the league in 3-point percentage. And it's the next thing is, well, he's not going to shoot enough. It's okay, does he have to average 2 blocks per game in order for him to get any respect? And that doesn't make any sense because there's only 3 dudes in the league who average 2 blocks a game
or 25+ points. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I genuinely, I don't know. I think people probably look and they go, well, DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk were the ones who led the way there. That's probably what people take away.
But that's crazy talk because the entire table was set with the 2-man game of Monk and Sabonis.
Yeah.
So
very, very, very freaking good player, and you saw it again last night.
Yeah.
Number 4?
Number 4.
4? Yeah.
Yeah, well rested. Malik Monk looked re-energized, 26 points and 9 assists. Again, the 2-man game was incredible. You just miss his energy when he's not there. And it's just so
different.
Yeah.
It's so different. The way they came out last night versus the way they came out against Milwaukee and every game before that, night and day.
Yeah, it's a skill that you can't put on the box score and you don't know where how
it's intangible.
Yeah, and but what he does is crazy. He just brings a joy and everything else to the game.
He does what he does very effectively is it looks out of control, but he's never out of control. Does that make sense? It may look a little haphazard as he blows by his defender, but once he gets in the paint everything's under control for the most part. He might throw a couple of wild shots at the basket, but for the most part, he's going to make the right play once he's there. Whether that's passing it, whether that's shooting it, whether that's getting to the mid-range, whether that's pulling back out and shooting a three. He I think has a very, very high basketball IQ, and you see it on nights like last night.
Yeah.
Just the impact that it has.
He's just a hooper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just has like a really like instinctual game.
Yeah.
And a feel. And so I love watching him play. Like he does like bring so much joy. And again, it's just so difficult to find players that have that.
He had the stare down on Dylan Brooks.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody else on the Kings is doing that. Keegan's not doing that. Domas not doing that. De'Aaron's not doing that most nights. Nobody. Keon might. Keon's got a little bit of that to him. But when Malik does it, it's like that is setting a tone for the rest of the team.
Yes.
And it is so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
Number 5.
Number 5. Fox was a bit of an afterthought. I thought Amen Thompson did an incredible job. He's just nasty as a player. But I also think that Fox came up big when it mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hit
Definitely.
the 5 free throws. Defensively, I thought he was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He did a very, very good job of an all-around game.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't stand out in a game where there were multiple standout players on a big stage.
Yeah, I think in a vacuum he was really good. My expectation was just different going into last night for what we'd see from him.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, you reach a point where even if Amen Thompson gets thrown at you, who's an outstanding young player, very good defender, really, really tough, you still find a way to kind of get yours. But again, if you've got 2 other guys going for 60,
yeah, that and I think we can all remember that De'Aaron Fox got blocked by Şengün on that incredible block. That was wild,
really great.
And then also De'Aaron missed a layup. I think he missed 2, but let's just say he missed 1, and it was right at the rim, and he just bricked the layup. Yeah. You give him those 4 points, and are we talking about it? No, he's got 21 points, and you know he just has 21 or 23.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like every once in a while you're gonna have a couple of
a block. My God.
Yeah. What's that?
He had 4 steals and a block last night.
4 steals and a block. Yeah, and 4 deflections, and you know, like I think it was 3 of 13 is what he held his defenders,
pretty good
opposing
player.
Offense too. Yeah,
pretty good player. Real quick before we move to the last one, let's do the last one, and then I'll do my real quick thing.
Okay.
Number 6.
Yeah, the Keon injury is no bueno. I mean,
it's tough.
The Kings need him. I don't know if he's going to be out at all or how long he'll be out for. But you just look at the next 2 games, and I'd rather have him to go send at Jordan Poole, and I'd rather have him to go send at Steph Curry than to not have him.
Sure.
And so, like, you're hoping that he's able to figure it out, and that there isn't too much swelling. And you know, today will tell us a lot. But the Kings are off today. It's their bowling night tonight. They have their big event where they're all bowling and doing all that stuff. We'll know more tomorrow about him and whether it's like some sort of ankle sprain or not, or it was just a quick roll. He walked off the court. He was walking in the locker room. I think he's going to be okay. We're just going to have to wait and see what the medical says.
Yeah, hope so. You're definitely in wait and see mode on that. That's all. That's kind of all I've got for now.
Yeah.
Once we know how long he's out, then we can kind of assess what do the Kings do.
Yeah.
My real quick thing, this is my quick thought. I want to like Alperen Şengün's game so much.
Yeah.
But there's something about he moves like his bones are made out of rubber.
He's just a noodle.
And it bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers my spirit. I don't like it. And he's sick. Like, he's awesome. Got the little midi, hit a 3-pointer. You could see how crafty he is passing the ball. He's so good around the basket. Like, he's a really good player. He's like Diet Sabonis kind of. Like same kind of different skill set, but gets to a lot of the same things, just not as well.
Yeah.
And I want to love his game, but just watching him function, the way he moves,
it's weird.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like it's very different than anyone else that we've seen in maybe like the last 15 years. Like
Yeah, it's just awkward.
The league went away from players that were like this, the
Mhm.
guys with like the crazy footwork and
Al
like
Jefferson.
7 different post moves.
Mhm.
Yeah, the post move on the post move on the post move.
Mhm.
And like, look, there are moments where you can really enjoy his game. They also, like, if you put him, like, just to do the Brock Purdy thing, if you put him in the Kings offense
Yeah.
where they run the ball through him the whole time, Şengün would be incredible. He's a great passer. And I think that he's a little miscast with a group of like super athletes. It's like a whole bunch of super athletes and then dude who trips over like a phone book.
He's like the inflatable noodle
Yes.
man. It's like one of those things went to the gym with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the not comparing him to Hakeem. Hakeem charges a lot of money to teach guys how to play basketball. It's like one of those things, got some post moves.
Mm-hmm.
But man, some of the passes he throws are sick.
Yeah.
He just
he's so close that you want to.
I'm just out on just his aura, bro. I
Yeah.
don't like it one bit.
Yeah.
All right. We got Jesse Tapia coming in for the handoff. We got Mad Props. Got NFL divisional round Mad Props. We'll do our predictions for the weekend. I think you and I both went 5-1 last week.
Oh.
I don't know what Jesse did. I don't think Jesse did as well.
I thought I was like one below. Like
you were 5-0.
Okay.
Because I was 4-1.
Oh,
you were 5-0
on the games.
Then you picked the Vikings.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I picked the Rams.
Okay.
So we'll do our predictions again, and then I'm gonna give you my underdog lineup right now. Underdogs pick'em game. This is so easy. You're gonna download the Underdog app. You're gonna sign up with promo code Kyle M and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Promo code Kyle M. And all you do is you pick 2 or more players. You pick higher or lower on their stats, and then you can win up to 1,000 times your entry. That easy. So I've lost 7 straight lineups.
Oof.
So maybe take this lineup and just do the opposite. Here's what I'm rocking with. I got 3 players tonight. I've got Paolo Banchero for the Orlando Magic. I've got him higher than 24.5 points against the Celtics. The Celtics really had trouble with Domas. I think they're going to have trouble with a big athlete like Paolo Banchero. I know the Celtics also have big athletes, but Paolo Banchero is legit like 6'11". He is a monster of a human, very good player. Anthony Edwards, I'm going higher than 26.5 points against the New York Knicks because I think Anthony Edwards' sole purpose in life right now is to score points. And then Josh Hart in that same game against Minnesota, I've got him higher than half a double-double. So I'm going back to the double-double well. And I like Josh Hart to get to grab 10 boards and to score 10 points against Minnesota.
Okay.
That's my 3-player lineup on the Underdog app. Hope you play along with me or fade my picks. That would be my recommendation right now until I start winning some here. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. All right. NFL divisional round picks, Mad Props, Jesse Tapia coming up next on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Hitter. And clear.
Clear.
Oh.
What's going on, everybody?
Hang on, stop.
Let's see. Yes. The Kings, they're over the cap, but they're under the luxury. I mean, they're under the apron. Yeah, they could use a trade exception for sure. They could also use it as part of a bigger deal. So, like, it gets super complicated, but most big trades are actually a series of smaller trades. And you can, like, again, if you were to trade 3 players for 2, that exception could be used as part of a deal for one of those players. And then the other 3 players can be used to match salary for the other player on the other team. And then, so it's in aggregate, but it's a series of small trades. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah. So yes, they can use that, but it's good until the day he was traded the following year. So got a little bit of time. Actually, it's probably a good trade exception because it happened. The DeMar DeRozan trade happened during the California Classic and didn't get announced until like the 7th. So that of July. So that trade is going to be good all the way through the draft.
Jesse, you're good, by the way.
What's up, Chetty House?
Oh man,
What's up, James? Kyle?
Jesse.
hold on, dude.
I think I got some bangers in Mad Props this week.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
Feel good about it.
Me and James will be the judge of that.
We will be the ultimate judges.
We'll let you know.
I read the first one and you're like,
This is
no,
trash,
seriously,
yeah.
what's the actual one?
Me and
Like,
James
you're
look at each
joking.
like, what's this guy's deal?
It's trash.
Oh, somebody asked where the light came from. I don't know. My buddy Andrew made this.
Oh,
So I don't know what light stick this is.
I'm guessing it's from the Amazon, but I'm not sure.
I got nothing for you.
Okay.
It changes colors.
Does that thing not pull apart? You can't like look at it. I'm just. You don't have to, Kyle.
Let's take it apart on air. What's up, Drew Down, Johnny, Germs, Zabo,
has come
Wheezy.
Golden One Center.
Wilson. They're just going through a tough stretch. That's it. I'll be ready for playoffs.
Kings broke him. Jesse
That
doesn't
too,
want to
yeah.
admit it.
That's what it was.
Chris Ochoa.
Scooter,
don't-
John Poles.
The Clippers aren't going to trade Derek Jones Jr. right now. I don't believe. Now Bones, yeah, I don't think that they would care, but Derek Jones Jr. plays in the rotation. Somebody else had like a whole list of like really interesting young players that they wanted the Kings to trade for, and like, why would any of those teams want to trade those young players? Not to be like. Most teams don't want to trade their young players.
Yeah, there's no markings on that light stick.
Oh,
Google generic unmarked color changing light stick with remote control USB. What?
Nothing, dude. Just go.
Me?
It felt like a flag.
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
For light
stick
stick?
might be a bad call. Might be, but it felt like one.
oh.
I need a review.
There's no review. I'm the
I need to
ref.
review
You're a
this. I need to
player.
review
You're a
this.
player. I am the only ref.
Review this.
Let's go to the replay.
See, we got an AO right there. That's a cosign right there.
Oh, dude.
There we
no,
go. There we
boo,
go. Shout out
boo,
Zabo.
Boo.
There we go.
That's what I get for
Sideline judge.
for trying to help people.
Eric B, Zabo, sideline ref. say
This
it's
is
good.
insane. This is ridiculous.
Shout out to the crew.
I was gonna make a joke about those guys being in a certain city in New Jersey, but I don't want another flag thrown on me.
That's smart by you.
Oh,
Yeah,
here it is. Yeah,
we're coming back right now.
Okay.
First day.
For who? For you?
Yeah.
Why you didn't hit the
Now,
button?
back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Bad call got me flustered, man.
Yeah, guy still acts like he's new here.
Probably put you in program one. There you go.
Oh, you can't even hear me.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
Take a lap, pal. Take a lap.
I'm out. You guys do something.
Fence and back.
One producer to the next.
Yeah, you just give me the mad prop sheet first.
Yeah. Oh.
Fencing back is one of my favorite things that you say.
Yeah.
You have a lot of like little Jesse-isms. Fencing back is the best.
Shout out to middle school PE.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's great about it. Is A, I don't know anyone who says it. So in my mind, it's a Jesse original. And B, everybody knows what it means.
Exactly.
There's no wait, what do you mean fencing back? Everybody knows.
I know. Yeah.
Shout out to those of us who had to run fence and back during PE.
Absolutely. We had in baseball, we had what we called greens. So our complex where our baseball fields were like just this big, it was like a park basically. And then there were fields all set up. So the outfield's all kind of, And all the way around the loop was like a half mile. And so we would have to run greens. That was our thing. Or you could do a half green, which was like you cut across at like the softball field, but 2 half greens was way longer than 1 full green because of the way the fields were laid out. And a guy named Mike McCarthy, who went to my high school.
Went on
and
to
he
be
was
the
like a
Cowboys
runner.
head coach.
Yes.
Now we know
Same
Kyle's
guy.
hatred for
No,
Mike
he was-
McCarthy right
no,
now.
He actually wound up like as an instructor for the A's or like as a assistant pitching coach or something for a year. It was weird. Watching an A's coach go online and rip Niner takes on Facebook was hilarious, but that's a different thing. And we're sitting there and the varsity coach, this is my freshman year, and he was a few years ahead of me. And the varsity coach goes, "All right, we can do 4 greens or 8 half greens, whatever you guys want to do." And Mike just blurts out, "Well, the half green is longer." And the coach goes, "All right, then that's what you're doing. 8 half greens. Let's go."
Oh,
You son of a.
As soon as you said what he said, I knew instantly what was happening next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like, dude, Mike, I hold a grudge to this day. When I saw
See?
he worked for the A's, I was like, massive mistake.
this is why he fades the head coach, the
Exactly.
former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
The 8 half greens.
Don't
You
be
had to
Mike
run
at
one
don't be
time.
Mike at baseball practice.
Don't be that guy. Don't if you have homework due, kids, if you're listening and you have homework due and you get to the end of the class and teacher hasn't had you turn in the homework,
Walk out that door.
get out. I don't care if you did the assignment.
Mhm.
Or if you're like, you know what, I did the assignment, I really want to make sure I get it turned in, let everybody leave. And once everybody's gone, you walk up and you go, "Hey, here's the homework."
Because you know what?
And then-
Everyone else gets an extra night to do it. If they
Exactly.
didn't. We're all a team here. We're all
We're
trying to get through
working
this
together.
together.
And in college students, hello, welcome to the program. I promise we're getting to mad props here in a second into real sports stuff, but college students, when the professor looks at the clock and goes, "All right, well, we can get out of here a little early unless anybody has questions."
Oh,
Don't get me
ask
started
the
on the question person.
Here's when you ask your question. You walk up to them as everybody's leaving and you have a little one-on-one chat to get your question answered.
And you know what?
I'm not anti-asking. If you're like, "Hey, one of your office hours, need clarification on this, what chapter is this?" Whatever, you can walk up and have that conversation face to face.
You know what? And while we're at this,
Yeah,
applies
please.
at
No,
work
let's
too.
go.
This
Let's just
applies
we might
at work
skip. We
too.
might skip mad props.
When the boss goes, "All right, we'll wrap it up. Anyone else got anything?" That doesn't mean, "Oh yeah, let's talk about this, this, and that." No, it doesn't. We're all trying to get to our jobs. We don't want to sit here anymore.
Anyone else got anything means this meeting is over. Unless the thing you've got is, by the way, ordered pizzas. They'll be here in 10.
Yeah. You know what? Tribal chief one time during the meeting, he's like, "Jess, you got anything?" "Nope. Would like to go to the studio." Exactly what I said. Just get to it.
Yeah, I want to go work, boss.
Exactly.
That's it.
I don't
Cut
have
the
time
BS.
for your
This edit-
meeting.
this
We don't need the extra stuff here.
This is etiquette, man.
Amazing.
We're trying to do as little work as possible. What are we doing?
Exactly. I'm trying to get to the studio so I can relax.
And God forbid, college professor says, "We can get out of here a few minutes early unless anybody has questions." And somebody's hand shoots up so they can be like, "Do you want us to turn in the paper that's due?"
Oh no.
I will kick that person off the Guy West Bridge.
Oh.
Guy West Bridge is
Yeah,
for
not
the
that
real.
far, yeah.
Is for the real
Yeah. Shout out.
Sacramento. The real Sac State. The real Sac State head. Stingers up.
Big ass bridge right there.
It's just like, why does this there?
Yeah.
It's could just be a normal bridge.
Oh, the Golden Gate Bridge right here in Sacramento.
It's insane. All right. Mad props. We do this every week. 2 sports. We have the Kings game Sunday against the Washington Wizards. We have NFL divisional playoffs. That's what we're doing for mad props. A stat from each game. We put them up against each other. We pick which one's going to be higher. And now the voice guy is going to say what I just said.
It's time for Mad Props. 2 games, 2 props. Which number will be higher? That's for Kyle and James to decide.
And Jesse.
Here's
And Jesse.
Mad Props.
I'm going to get it fixed someday, Jesse. I promise. Actually, you know what? I was going to until you threw that flag on me at the break.
This is
Oh.
what it is.
Now I'm holding the lifetime.
Being a
grudge.
referee is a thankless job.
You and Mike McCarthy
You
right
are
at the top of my S list.
The new Mike McCarthy.
And not Cowboys Mike McCarthy, not Packers Mike McCarthy,
That's
not
tough.
future Bears Mike McCarthy.
There better not be a Jesse Tapia trying to get a head coaching job somewhere.
Oh, God forbid. Unless it's Pops, in which case that's fine.
Shout out to
You,
Pops.
though.
Yeah, shout out to my dad. He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
your dad's the homie. You're on thin ice, buddy. All right. Mad Props number 1. Again, this is the Kings against the Wizards with NFL divisional playoffs. James, will start with you. Domantas Sabonis points, rebounds, and assists against the Washington Wizards.
Okay.
Or total points in the Chiefs-Texans game.
Oh, I'm going to go Domas.
Jesse?
I'm going to go Chiefs-Texans.
So
like Valanciunas usually has a little something for him.
So I'm trying to decide if this is a spot where the Chiefs and Texans are just going to have this knockdown, drag-out defensive battle where it's like 13-6, or if it's the playoffs and everything gets a little weird and it's going to be like 31-25.
That's where I'm thinking it's going to be like 17-13, and I think Domas will be around 38. I think he'll have a low point, rebound, assist number because I don't think he'll be forced to play a ton. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm going to go Domas. Yeah. I'm going Domas, and I feel good about it.
Shout out Chiefs Texans then.
I think there's a chance the Chiefs win like 31-10 as well. Like that's also on the table for me. Jesse, we'll go to you here first. Malik Monk field goal attempts or Lamar Jackson completions? Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, of course, playing at the Buffalo Bills.
Malik Monk field goal attempts.
James?
I'm going to go Lamar because I think that can be a throwing game. It can be a little bit of a knockdown, drag out.
Yeah, that's another one where like the Derrick Henry had 200 rushing yards and the Ravens smoked the Bills the first time they played them. And is that just like what we're going to do? Is that just the Ravens have this massive advantage? That's what we're going to see.
I think it's going to be a cold weather run the football type game, I heard.
Yeah, Monk's going to get his shots up. I'll go Malik. I'm also going to go Malik. I feel like we're on a Malik heater where he's going to put up 20, 21 shots.
That's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling more like 14, 15.
Okay. Keegan Murray 3-point attempts or total touchdowns in the Commanders and Lions game, James?
Total touchdowns in the
Commanders and Lions game.
Oh, I'm going total touchdowns.
That's the route I'm going. Jesse?
We got total touchdowns or what else?
Or Keegan Murray 3-point attempts.
Total touchdowns, I think.
I think the Lions can have 8 touchdowns on their own.
Yeah, I'm like, I penciled the Lions in for 4.
Yeah, because the Commanders are pretty good at finishing drives now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with total touchdowns.
All right. We're all in on that. We're all rooting for touchdowns in that game.
It sounds like 6, maybe 7 threes for Keegan, but
yeah,
I feel like the Detroit and Commanders can match that.
Okay. Assuming he plays, I'm going to go Devin Carter rebounds for you, James. Devin Carter rebounds or Puka Nacua receptions.
Ooh, I'm going to go Puka.
Yeah, I'll go Puka on that one too.
Man, I'm going to go Devin Carter.
Oh.
Assuming he plays. Because if Keon Ellis is going to be out on Sunday, I think we're going to see a lot of Devin Carter. There's a chance we get a lot of garbage time.
Yeah.
And like 8, 9, 10 boards. Philly's defense been playing pretty well, although Matthew Stafford's on kind of a heater.
He is, and Puka Nacua is really good.
A really good player. All right. I'm rocking with Devin Carter, my future bald homie. Jesse, De'Aaron Fox points. Or hey, speaking of, real quick, hang on, turn the music off.
Oh, talking about bald, what's up?
Jeff Green needs to come home.
I saw that. I noticed that yesterday. That was tough, Jeff.
My brother in Christ.
Yeah, you can't hide that.
It is all gone, and there's you gotta let it.
Yep.
When it's receding, if you got a little bald spot, okay, that is a big bald spot with the receding hairline.
Yeah, Jeff, you should have went bald a long time ago.
He's 38. It's okay.
That's fine. No one's gonna care.
No one's gonna. Yeah, come on home. See you at the meeting.
Yeah, no, you're right. I noticed that immediately.
Yeah, busted up the Kings early.
Yeah, he did. I didn't realize he was going to start. Shout out to Jeff Green. He's carved out a really great career. Celtics legend, Jeff Green.
The only player besides Kevin Durant still playing from the 2007 draft.
Yeah, it's a good stat.
Yeah,
really good stat.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
It's true.
Also, did he play for the Sonics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Green?
I think so. Like barely, I think.
No, he was drafted by the Sonics. I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay, that's I couldn't remember
Okay,
if
I
he was
can remember
Celtics and
first.
Sonics or Sonics and Celtics. Anyways, okay, back to Mad Props. Jesse, this is to you, right?
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox points or Derrick Henry rushing attempts?
I really want to go De'Aaron.
I told you I
here.
got some bangers.
Yeah,
this
I
week,
really
bro.
want to go De'Aaron, but Derrick Henry. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I'm gonna come back to this one, but I'm gonna go Derrick Henry right now.
James.
I'm gonna go De'Aaron Fox.
You figure he's got to like erupt for a big scoring game at some point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Oh.
Give me De'Aaron. Give me De'Aaron.
Oh, he's changing
Give me
it up.
De'Aaron. Give me
He's
De'Aaron.
changing it
I didn't
up.
feel great about Derrick Henry when I said it.
All right, so here's what I'm debating. Is it Bills exert all energy stopping the Ravens run game? And for me?
On me.
Oh, okay. They exert all their energy to stopping the Ravens run game, and all of a sudden we get this, like, it's a bunch of passing, and Derrick Henry runs it 12 times. Or De'Aaron either goes off, or De'Aaron's cool just coasting, has 17 points, and sits out the fourth quarter because the Kings have won by a million.
That's the thing. I'm taking De'Aaron right here because I'm hoping like he's gonna get at least 26. Derrick Henry, I don't think he's running the ball more than like 20, 22 times.
I think they're gonna try. I think Fox knows he needs to start putting up points. Like,
yeah,
he's looking at the leaders and everything
Mhm.
else. He knows he's got,
there's a chance to go get 40.
Yeah, I did look this up. Jeff Green did. He was drafted by Seattle, and then they moved to OKC the next year, and he's played for 11 teams.
Wow. Salute to Jeff Green,
Shout out Jeff,
the future bald homie.
Celtics legend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Fox as well. Yeah, I feel good about it. James Ham, we'll finish it up here. Kings total points or Eagles rushing yards against the Rams.
Ooh, that's a good one, Kyle.
Thanks.
I'm going Eagles rushing yards.
That's the route I'm going. As
Yeah,
well.
give me
That's
Eagles
it.
rushing yards too.
So
I mean, I
don't.
think
Kings aren't scoring more than 150, so
they can go for 140.
That's
but
okay. So that's literally the number I had in my head for the Kings.
Yeah,
It was like in the 140 range. If we're penciling Saquon in for 100,
I'm penciling Saquon in for 120.
yeah, that's what. And was last week the breakout of the Rams defensive line where all of a sudden they're just going to be this force, or are they going to get exposed by the Eagles and the Eagles are going to run for 200 yards?
Well, there's the thing. The Rams defensive line could show up, but Saquon looks like Adrian Peterson. Like he's that good.
Yeah.
Like you can't really stop him right now.
Yeah, I kind of
Okay.
feel the same way.
That's where I'm going to go that. I'm going to go that route as well.
Unless he doesn't need the touchdown and then or the yards, and then he'll slide down short.
You should have took the touchdown on that, by the way. It would have been
Disagree.
up. Why? They would have been up like 2 scores. There's like a minute
Because-
and a half left, I think.
Yeah, but when he slid down, they kneeled it once and the game was over.
Yeah, but touchdown's cooler.
There it is.
Like,
Touchdowns.
what do you want?
Touchdowns are cooler.
Touchdowns are definitely cooler. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. That's a good. You know what?
Like what? Yeah. Oh,
You got me.
babe. Yeah, I
That's
ran for 120 yards and I slid at the 20. Babe, I ran for 140 and scored a touchdown. in a
Thinking
playoff
Friday Night
game.
Lights. I want to be with a ball carrier.
Exactly. That's it. Scored a
Don't-
touchdown.
Don't baby booby me.
I've never seen Friday Night Lights.
Really good film. You should check it out.
There's a TV show too.
The movie's better. I haven't seen enough of the TV show seasons to have a take on whether the movie or the show is better. I love the movie though. That was one of those like ones we rewatched a lot in high school.
Oh yeah, it was a big high school movie with football players.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Let's get to some predictions. I went 5-1 last week. James also went 5-1. Jesse, do you know what your record was last week?
I thought I did pretty good. I think you guys are lying.
No,
I wish you weren't a liar, Kyle.
no. Check the tape.
I don't know. Like you don't have.
You want to
don't
just
have it
claim?
there?
You just want to claim 5-1 too?
You don't have it there?
I don't know.
I went 6-0.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, I went 6-0.
Good work. Hey, everybody, round of
If
applause.
we don't
for
have the
Jesse.
numbers there, I went 6-0.
That's big time.
Yeah.
Nice job, man.
Crazy.
I knew you at least took the Vikings,
Sure,
and I believe you had the Packers against the Eagles.
allegedly.
No proof. There actually is. I could go find it, but I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, no, we lost a couple last week.
Texans, Chiefs. A lot of big lines this week for the divisional round,
I don't
which
know.
makes me nervous.
I don't know where to go with Texans and Chiefs.
What's this? The point spread?
8.5 points
Oh,
in Kansas City. Texans, Chiefs.
Are the Texans just that bad then? Not that bad because they're in the playoffs, but they just don't belong with these other teams.
I kind of think so.
I'm taking the Texans because I think they do belong, and I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs can't put anybody away this year.
That's true. But it's Andy Reid. Now, granted, he didn't get to game plan for 2 weeks for Houston because he didn't know who he was going to play till last week. But they've had a week off.
If we're going with the points and all that here, I'll take the Texans.
Wow.
Just given it could be low scoring.
Hmm.
Because the Texans defense is legit.
Yeah, because 17-10, that they still cover.
Taking Kansas City in the points.
20-13. My guess.
Yeah, Kansas City minus 8.5. I think there's a real chance here where it's like 27-10 type of game.
That's a sucker's bet. You might be right.
KC's defense is so good. That is a really, really good group. And Houston's offense was so bad this year.
Yeah.
And Houston's offense wasn't even great against the Chargers.
So you're not wrong. You're making all
Thanks,
right
man.
points.
Yeah,
but,
no,
you know what?
yeah, thank you.
This is gambling and betting. So.
Let's rip through these last few here. Commanders, Lions. The Lions favored by 9.5 points.
That feels too much. I'm gonna go Commanders in this one.
I'll take the Lions and the points.
I'm gonna do the same thing, James.
I believe in Jaden Daniels.
I'm writing them down this week.
You can believe in Jaden Daniels and still have them lose 42-24.
What's the thing? I don't know if Detroit's defense is gonna just shut down the Commanders' offense. Like
That's
they are
true.
still dealing with injuries and all that. Like
that's true.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels they'll be fine. It's just I believe in Lions offense too, but I'm gonna go Commanders.
It's just I think it's going to be a matter of
football team.
Can Detroit get a stop? That thing is going to be different. That's going to be loud. That place is going to be nuts. I'm going Detroit. I'm taking Detroit minus 9.5. Rams, Eagles. Eagles favored by 6 points in Philly, and I'm taking all 6 of those points.
I want to believe.
I guess I'm not. I'm giving all 6 of those points.
I want to believe in the Rams because they are a good team, but it's just Philly. Philly to me is a Super Bowl right now.
Yep, I'm with you, James.
I'm going Rams.
Okay.
I don't believe in
Team
Philly.
of Destiny.
You don't believe in Philly?
Wow.
And I don't typically like the Rams. I'm not that a big.
I've been big on the Rams all year,
but I think that they can like this. I think it'll be within the margin.
What don't you believe about in Philly?
I just don't like Jalen Hurts. Just like he's like he doesn't instill
not
any
a great
confidence
passer
in me at all.
See, but that's not the one you got to stop though.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
think their defense is playing really well.
But if you center everything, you figure out how to stop Saquon. I don't know that he can beat you.
If you could stop Saquon, then yeah, I think the Eagles are really vulnerable. But I feel like that's just been
You're in for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, that's just been every team's game plan all year. It's just not working this season. It's just not working.
True.
So.
I hope that's a good game, James. I hope you're right. I hope we get a close one in Philly. And the last one, the Bills are getting a point at home against the Ravens. The Ravens are -1 on the road against a Bills team they beat 35-10 earlier this season. I'm going with Baltimore because I picked Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl. So I have to continue rocking with the minus a point.
I picked the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm picking with my heart on this one. I got to go with the Ravens.
I respect it.
I've
dude.
been a Lamar Jackson guy since Louisville. I need this one.
I'm also going Ravens.
I don't think anyone has more at stake this weekend than Lamar.
And it's crazy because he's probably going to win his 3rd MVP.
Right.
Yeah, but still legacy.
Yeah, and I hate the word narrative, but perception. Like, he can't get it done in the playoffs, even though he's been really good his last 3 playoff games.
That's the thing. Yeah, he has. It's like Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl once. Not saying anything wrong with Joe Burrow, but it's like he's been in the playoffs 2 out of the 5 years, I think. Yeah.
The goalpost move.
He's just he's set.
But, you beat Patrick Mahomes on the road once. Yeah. I just winner of
Dude,
Ravens.
that win against Mahomes was doing work for him this season. It's like, if the Bengals get to the playoffs, who could beat that? They could get the Chiefs. So,
yeah, people said the Chiefs threw the game against Denver on purpose. So it's like, get out of here.
Yeah,
that's right.
No chance.
Shout out Lamar.
Yeah. You know what else I need to shout out before we get out of here? The homies over at Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, it's a new year to keep your vehicle running smoothly, and our friends over at Jiffy Lube have an amazing New Year oil change special going on right now for the month of January. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for a full synthetic motor oil change with online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com today, find a location near you, and get that $33 off synthetic oil change coupon now. Valid until January 31st, up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil. Most vehicles are covered. Specialty and diesel vehicles may be extra. Must show coupon for discount. Happy New Year's from our friends over at Jiffy Lube.
Happy New. Can we hit Jiffy Lube and ask if we can take out the Happy New Year?
Okay,
Out time for Valentine's. Shout out Jiffy Lube.
that's right.
One's on North. Get me go.
JiffyLube.com. Find the location nearest you. Jesse already knows that because, of course, you know Jesse's in there. What do you guys got coming up on D'Lo and KC?
The whole vibes today.
The vibes are
Hey, that game was sick
insane.
yesterday.
So
I saw you were out there too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Had a
fun.
great time.
Yeah, we saw Kings Rockets, Eddie Gonzalez, Kyle Madsen, James Ham. I think
Oh,
I'm missing one more.
the whole crew is going to be there.
It's big old Friday vibes today. You know how it is.
Awesome. Can't
Nice.
wait. D'Lo and KC coming up next. James and I are done for the week. We'll talk to you guys 10 a.m. on Monday. Until then, drink water and be nice people. Chatty house. Have a great weekend. Appreciate